Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Next up for this takeover, we'll be talking with photographer, graphic designer, and painter Dave McClinton. He's based in Austin, Texas, and he was actually featured recently in our exhibition, Art from an Experience-Based Identity, which I had the pleasure to curate, so I'm actually really excited to talk to him today. So we're just waiting for him to join, and then we'll get things started. I hope everyone's New Year's Eve is going well so far. Let's give it a second to load. Hi, Dave.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. How's your New Year's Eve going so far?
I am in the middle of working on some design projects, so there is no New Year's Eve for me.
Always working, huh? Well, that's a good
Always
way to
working.
bring in the year, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Cool. Well, can you tell me 3 words that would describe 2020 for you?
Um, you know, yeah. 3 words. I would say the par for the course.
Mm.
If you exclude the pandemic, um, and I would say back to normal. I know that's not one word, but I used to be a freelancer working from home all the time.
Okay.
So this shift of working from home, not going into an office was kind of, I mean, I did it for 10 years. So
Wow.
it was kind of like, all right, I remember what this is like. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say the usual,
Wow.
familiar.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird to hear somebody say that about 2020,
A
but
little bit.
yeah. And when I say the usual, I mean all the horrific things that have happened outside of the pandemic have always been happening.
Right.
So the people that were up in arms about Floyd. I mean, we know we've had those names in our heads for 20, 30, 40, 50 years now.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so some of that stuff just wasn't new to me, shamefully.
Right. And I must say I'm grateful that you bring that point up because I don't think, that's in a lot of people's awareness if it's not the reality that they live. So,
Yeah, and it's something that I'm sure I sound like a broken record to my friends, but everybody has been going on and on about how horrible 2020's been. And again, remove the pandemic, which is
hmm
a huge thing. I'm not discounting that. But
hmm
the police violence is really nothing new. I think the only thing that's new is that there are camera phones now.
right,
Like, if there had been camera phones in 1965, we'd have been having this conversation back then.
right.
But
Absolutely.
anyway,
Good
that's
point.
that's not why you called.
um, well, to get more personal, what do you think has been your biggest personal change from January up until now?
uh, Biggest personal change. I would say more of a reaffirmation of what I was doing the art for. Um, it just became. It feels like the communication of what Black life is like
Mm,
is not getting through enough
right,
or fast enough or clearly enough. So it's made me want to double down on efforts of the art that I make and to explain it more and to actually to write more about the work so I can explain it better and that it has words with it, whether it's on the website or on Instagram or social media, wherever, so
right.
that people can understand more what the work is about. So I guess the change has been just sort of doubling down on making sure the message is out there.
Right. And I think that's amazing. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. And I'm grateful that I was able to work with you for the exhibition, Art from Experience-Based Identity.
Yeah, I
Um,
was I was honored to be chosen, to tell you the truth.
I mean, of course, your work is beautiful and it helped me as a curator visually put together a narrative of what I wanted to communicate as a Black person myself
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
world at the end of 2020.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so on that same vein, I would love to know um, how it felt to be a part of that exhibition as this year is coming to an end?
Well, I'd had a couple of things scheduled for this year, real like in person shows that
Awesome.
obviously got pushed back, and um, actually three different things were supposed to happen this year. Um, One got canceled outright, the other two got pushed back, and so just the opportunity to show work anywhere, like I was so grateful when I got that message from your team. It was like, wow, like I didn't know I was necessarily going to show work anywhere.
Oh, wow.
I do have a show up here in town, but that was a
You're in
show that was
Texas,
a
right? In Austin?
yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I acting like everybody knows
No,
my
I
state.
said that in the intro, but I wanted to be sure.
Okay. Um, yeah, there's a show up now, but that was a show that was supposed to happen at a different gallery in May.
Okay.
So yeah, so when you guys reached out, I was just like, I jumped at the chance. I was like, okay, I get to show work somewhere when
Awesome.
in a year that I didn't think I was going to be able to. So
Right.
yeah, like I felt super grateful for that.
Awesome. Well, we're glad that we were able to work with you for sure. What has brought you the most joy this year?
Most joy, not having to commute to a day job.
That,
Again,
yeah.
everything circles around. I'm acting like I'm happy for the pandemic. I'm not, but uh, yeah, that's a weird thing to say, isn't it?
No, I mean, I
Am
hear
I a
you.
horrible person? I'm a horrible person.
Not
No,
at all. Not at all. It makes
no,
so much
yeah, like not having to get in the car and drive to work has been nice. And we actually, the business, we actually decided to just get rid of the office altogether. So it's not.
I think, can you just move your hand? We can't really hear you. I think you're covering.
Oh, there you go.
There
Well,
you
yeah, this is only the second time I've done this, so
go. Cool.
I'm inexperienced. Uh, I was going to say one of the things we found out was, or we decided to do, was get rid of the office. So everybody's working from home now, and I think that's just the way it's going to be. Um, the joy also has come from I've had a little more time to dig into uh, movies and books and comic books and old art books that I've that I bought years ago and never opened. You buy a
Right.
book or something and you think, oh, I'll have time to read this, and then
Right.
it just sits on the shelf and you never touch it. So I've had a chance to really jump into that sort of stuff. So it's been nice to have some private time. I haven't seen my friends, but I've had more time to dig in, onto just some materials and things around here that I just had forgotten about.
Right. Well, someone asked a question in the chat. It says, how can the Jewish artists support Black artists and not be stuck in 1968 attitudes?
I would say empathy. So just a Jewish person can absolutely understand um, what it feels like to be an outsider, what it feels like to be, um, vilified just for who you are. Nothing, you haven't done anything. It's just who you are. That's their problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not just, I would say it's not just Jewish people, not to get around the question, but um, there are so many different groups that we can all empathize with each other a bit. Like I tell the story often about, um, women feeling vulnerable and feeling unsafe in a certain place. I believe they can empathize with a Black man not feeling safe in a certain place, and then vice versa. Black men should easily be able to understand what a woman would feel like being vulnerable, being in a place where they don't feel 100% safe because of where they are. You
Right.
know, there's so many opportunities for us to put ourselves in the shoes of other people and realize that we all have a lot of the same feelings and fears. So I would say a Jewish artist, just keep speaking your truth and talk about empathy and talk about how we're in the same boat in a lot of circumstances, and that would go a long way, I think, for those two communities to understand, hey, we're different, but in a lot of ways we are a lot alike.
Right. And I think that's something that this pandemic has allowed everyone to realize. It sort of equalized the situations that we all do have the same basic needs, the same desires, want to be seen, to feel safe, to have community. So beyond just this question of Jewish artists or art even in particular, if we all just look past our differences or the things that we feel separate us, we can see that we really do have more points of connection than we think. We do.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
the
yeah.
top.
Yeah, and I've brought it up before. I've given an art talk here and there, and one of the things I always talk about is empathy. Like, I don't necessarily want anyone to feel guilty. I don't want anyone's pity, but I
Right.
do want people to at least try to understand what it's like.
Right.
The same way that I try to understand what it's like for, a female, a woman in a workplace to be the only woman there,
Right.
and what that's like. And then you sort of have to check yourself, like all the things that you thought were funny, 15 years ago aren't funny anymore. So you have to, like, all right. And so you got
Go
to
back.
course correct a little bit. So it's the same thing with race. It's the
Mhm.
same thing with gender. It's the same thing. Like, we just all need to check ourselves a little bit and try to remember, I'm sure I've said some horrible things, but that doesn't mean I'm necessarily that person. You just have to, you know,
Yourself.
fix yourself,
Right.
look inside and
Course
fix
correct.
yourself. So in terms of the Jewish artists helping out Black artists, I would say, yeah, just look inside, keep making the work, keep talking about it. Just keep that conversation going.
Nice. On a more positive note, how do you plan on bringing in the new year? Do you have any traditions that you usually do?
Um, I'm usually in a bar, so that won't be happening. A couple of groups of friends want to do some sort of New Year's Eve Zoom. I don't know if that's going to happen either. I mean, I'm sure they'll
Your
do it.
face.
I don't know if I'm going to be sitting. I don't know, man. Sitting in front of a
Are you
computer.
not a fan of the video
I mean,
chatting?
no, I like them. But for New Year's Eve, and honestly, this is going to sound like a bummer. I've got so much work to do. I probably need to work tonight.
Oh wow, wow.
Because
Okay.
there's just so much stuff, and there's a couple of projects that are dragging on, and you just got to knock it out. There's no other,
Right.
you know,
Right.
got to handle it. Because if the day job isn't, if I'm not taking care of that, the art's not going to happen.
Right. Absolutely. I hear you. Do you have any resolutions?
Um, I I made a recent purchase. It has nothing to do with New Year's, but I did make it. Just happens to be the timing. A
Okay.
little embarrassed. I'll admit it though. I don't know. Maybe I won't admit it.
You have to now. We're all here.
I know. Damn. All right. Yeah. I bought an exercise bike.
Oh, nice. I just
Yeah.
bought an elliptical and set it up. Don't feel bad.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so it just happens to be that I bought it now. So that technically that's my resolution.
Nice. I wish you luck with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, drop money on something like that, you got to use it, right?
I think you do.
Yeah.
I think you do. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today and spending part of your New Year's Eve with us here at the
Sure
camp.
thing.
It was a pleasure.
All right.
Can you tell the people where they can find you on social media?
Just at McClinton, McClinton on Instagram.
Okay.
And DaveMcClinton.com is the website. And honestly, from those two places, you should find me everywhere. And just if you just want to Google my name too, there's not a whole lot of McClintons out there. So just Google Dave McClinton and you'll find my work.
Awesome. And for everyone who's watching, once again, he was featured in our recent exhibition that'll be live through the end of January, Art from Experience-Based Identity, which you can find on our website, on Artsy, all the affiliate platforms, if you want to check out his work. Thank you again, Dave. It was a pleasure.
All righty. Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye.